I remember, I've been here long enough, having worked with the previous Trump administration. I'm not naive about those wins, and they did howl. We were involved in we were involved in specifically 122 lawsuits with the Trump administration. We know their playbook. We know what they're going to do. I talked a lot about the campaign, and I appreciated Kamala Harris's closing message about Donald Trump has an enemies list.
After a temporary hiatus from Truth Social, Donald Trump is posting again. Like we always expect him to angry, lashing out, making absurd statements. And of course, the most recent and most bizarre, well, I guess it was actually spot on for Donald Trump, was an attack on Governor Gavin Newsom, who said after Donald Trump's election on Tuesday that he would stand up for California values and make sure Donald Trump could not attack the rights of the citizens of his state. And of course, that drove Donald Trump crazy to a post on Truth Social that we covered. But now Gavin Newsom has responded to that post from Donald Trump and is calling him out once again and bringing the energy that Democrats need in this moment. And so, before we get into that video from Governor Gavin Newsom, I want to quickly ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you enjoy our channel and the fight that we are going to be in together, to hit that subscribe button, stick around for what we're going to be doing. It goes a long way. And it really means a lot to me now. Before we get into Gavin, I think we need to first check out that Truth Social post from Donald Trump. Right here. Trump wrote on Truth Social, Governor Gavin Newsom is trying to kill our nation's beautiful California for the first time ever. More people are leaving than are coming in. He is using the term Trump-proof as a way of stopping all of the great things that can be done to make California great again. But I just overwhelmingly won the election. People are being forced to leave due to his and others. Insane policy decisions like the ridiculously rerouting of millions of gallons of water a day from the north out into the Pacific Ocean, rather than using it free of charge for the towns, cities, and farms dotted all throughout the state of California. They are making it impossible to build a reasonably priced car, the unchecked and unbalanced homelessness catastrophe, and the cost of everything, in particular groceries, is out of control. Not a ton of unity from Donald Trump as the president-elect there, but it should be no surprise. But like I said, Governor Gavin Newsom clapped back and just recently posted this video on social media addressing Donald Trump attacks.
We have a president-elect, and I'm one of those people, I revere the institution. I revere this country, I revere the presidency, and I want our president to succeed. And our job, my job, is not to wake up every single day and get a crowbar and try to put it in the spokes of the wheel of the Trump administration. And so again, in that spirit of an open hand, not a closed fist, that's how we want to proceed. That said, fourth point, I'm not naive either, and we're pragmatic, and we will stand firm. I am reminded, there's that great old poem about, the winds may howl, but I will not be swept away. This notion that we have to plant our feet. And I remember, I've been here long enough, having worked with the previous Trump administration. I'm not naive about those wins, and they did howl. We were involved in we were involved in specifically 122 lawsuits with the Trump administration. We know their playbook. We know what they're going to do. I talked a lot about the campaign, and I appreciated Kamala Harris's closing message about Donald Trump has an enemies list, and she said, have a to-do list. I said I would make it a modest addendum to that. So did Donald Trump. That to-do list is laid out in a 922-page document, of which there's 270 specific points that he has publicly supported in that Project 2025 document, which 75% of its authors, and there's a multitude of authors, worked with the Trump administration. None of us are naive when he said he knew nothing about it. That is a to-do list. That is a playbook. The Heritage Foundation and others backing that playbook. You build on that, not naive about what to anticipate.
This is exactly what we need from Democrats. We need to be going on the offensive. We need to be making our case of how we are going to preempt Donald Trump. Right now, we cannot wait around. I have previously said this. I am so incredibly disappointed to see the DOJ already moving forward with dismissing Donald Trump cases we cannot let him win that easily make him show how corrupt he is. Make him show that the only reason he ran for president was to protect himself and enrich himself and his friends, of course, because Republicans are already starting to show their true colors, and we need to call them out, just like we saw from Jesse Waters right here.
And there will be massive clashes because you're going to have cameras out there making sure that they capture the images of ICE coming along and taking these people away. And they deserve to be taken away. Sometimes you have to do tough stuff. But AOC is going to be there tying herself to migrants. It's going to be hysterical. But sometimes Dad has to do the tough thing.
We knew that Republicans were cheering on Donald Trump's mass deportation plan, but to see Jesse Waters called family separation hysterical is gross. We need to be taking those moments and showing them to everyone to remind them what they voted for and what we must now fight against. Because I know there's a lot of people who voted for Donald Trump on Tuesday who are already regretting it. So let's bring them into the fight with us, because we know what Republicans are going to do. They're going to spin the media narrative as they always do, and they're going to start taking credit for the Biden economy, so we have to call that out, just like this clip did right here.
The economy that Scott has been rolling his eyes at under Joe Biden at 12:01 p.m. on January 20th, Donald Trump and every Republican out there is going to say it's the greatest economy on the face of this earth, and they will be celebrating how fantastic it is, right? So the prediction number one. Prediction number two is that if there's a Trump Tower Shanghai, or Ivanka gets a few more patents, or something happens in China and the Trump family, the Kushners get to build some sort of resort, those China tariffs will probably not come to fruition. Because if there's one thing we know about Donald Trump, there's one thing that Saudi Arabia knows about Donald Trump, there's something that Qatar knows about Donald Trump, something the Chinese and the Russians know about Donald Trump. If you make it worth his while financially, all the promises on the tariffs and everything else will magically disappear, and they know that.
Tara, do you?
We cannot allow Republicans to continue to use the media ecosystem that they have built to attack our country. We cannot allow them to use their media outlets like Fox, or go on Joe Rogan, or Tucker Carlson, or Candace Owens and push a narrative that isn't true to say that Donald Trump is responsible for all the infrastructure projects President Biden built, they recovering from COVID. No, we have to make it known right now the successes of Democrats and call out the failures of Donald Trump every single day, and including those who are going to be staffing his administration, which, speaking of which, one Republican tried to defend those who will be joining Donald Trump and got called out for it in this clip right here.
I mean, what a ridiculous position to take, that anybody who goes in to work for the president-elect does not believe in their oath to the Constitution, that the strictures will not be there. I'm sorry, I have perhaps a little bit more faith in the United States Constitution than you do, but the strictures will be there because it's called the United States Constitution, and it very clearly lays out a separation of powers. So one of the things that it clearly lays out is that there are three branches, including the executive branch, for which the commander-in-chief and the executive, who is elected by the people, is in charge of the executive branch. So to act as though anybody who goes in to work for him is going to bend the knee or to be some sort of subservient pawn in some sort of scheme is offensive, it's condescending, and it's that kind of campaign rhetoric that frankly led us to exactly where we are right now. The people that go in to serve will be doing so, and they will take an oath to the Constitution, and they will be trying to put forth the policies that the American people just resoundingly said they wanted for this country, a safe, secure, and prosperous America, and I think you should hope they succeed.
Let me just say, I appreciate that, but I actually took civics, so I don't really need to be refreshed on it. the reason that there are these concerns is because of what the president-elect has said that he would do, that fly in the face of that, and all the reports of the things that he asked people to do that they refused to do because they were committed to the Constitution.
Or it's someone like Bill Barr, who eventually left.
Yes.
Or
how about Mike Pence?
Or his
Mike
longest-serving chief of staff, John Kelly.
Yes, many
these are
great
people
examples
who
of the institutions
clearly
holding. Well
speak
done.
to Donald Trump's instincts, and we all have seen what Donald Trump himself has tried to do in addition to the things that he has explicitly said. So the gaslighting is inappropriate, obviously.
If you are joining the Trump administration, you are selling your soul and you are going against the Constitution. We know who you are actually serving. You're serving Donald Trump. You are not serving our country. It is what Project 2025 is about. And if you don't trust me, just listen to Don Jr.
I'm going to be heavily involved on the transition. I want to make sure now that we know who the real players are, the people who will actually deliver on the president's message, the people who don't think that they know better than the duly elected president of the United States. I want to make sure that those people are in his cabinet. I want to make sure that those people are in this administration.
Loyalist people who won't challenge Trump. That is who's going to be staffing this administration. And it's the reason why we cannot stop this fight now. It's why we cannot grow complacent, tired, or give up, because the threat is bigger than just one man. It is people spread across agencies that we can push back against their attacks on those agencies, on our freedoms, on the social safety net that Democrats have worked to build to protect working Americans. We have to be in that fight. And it's exactly what Tim Walz said yesterday.
I do want to take a few minutes and talk about a few words about our path forward. I know there's a lot of folks that are worried about the next 4 years and what they're going to look like. I'm one of them. The agenda we heard from the other side in this campaign was very different from the one we know is right for our state and our country. We've already seen the damage a president can cause when he's in it for himself, not the American people. Look, we know what's coming down the pike. We know it because they told us. And we're going to have to be ready to defend the progress that we've made here in Minnesota. The other side spent a lot of time campaigning and talking about and promising that they would leave things up to the states. Well, I'm willing to take them at their word for that. But the moment they try and bring a hateful agenda in this state, I'm going to stand ready to stand up and fight for the way we do things here.
The fight is not over. It continues, and we have to be a part of it. And we're going to be talking about it every single day on this show. And I'm going to be bringing resources every single day, every single week for us to be a part of this fight. Stick around for those, because I want to make sure as easy as possible to resist this Trump administration. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And until next time, I'll see you soon.